6:15. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Dilini Gunadana, assisted by Sanjay, and read by Geethanjali Ramanayaka. The headlines. Several new housing projects are underway for the homeless in Batticaloa. The Premier stresses that expenditure heads of the education system should be equally divided. Sri Lanka is to benefit from new Cambridge Climate Course and Flinders University campus. The Governor of the Central Bank says that Sri Lanka is in the final steps of completing the debt restructuring. A new loan scheme is introduced to uplift ailing small and medium enterprises. Foreign news: children in Gaza are a big cost of the Israeli genocide in Gaza. And in sports, it's women's cricket. Sri Lanka women beat West Indies women by 4 wickets. President Ranil Wickremesinghe announced that several new projects, including housing initiatives for the homeless in Batticaloa district, are planned to commence in the next few years to enhance the livelihood of the residents. It was added that the government has increased the allowance for preschool teachers by 2,500 rupees, which will take effect this week. Additionally, there are plans to significantly develop tourism in the area alongside the implementation of an agriculture modernization program. These initiatives are expected to bring substantial development to the province in the coming years. Furthermore, the government is collaborating with India to develop Trincomalee city and its port. These activities are anticipated to create more job opportunities for the youth of the eastern province in the future. President Wickremesinghe made these remarks during a meeting held on Sunday with school leavers and unemployed youth in Chenkaladi, Batticaloa. Prime Minister Dinesh Gunadana stressed that expenditure heads of the education system should be adjusted so that equal resources are available. The Prime Minister mentioned this at the occasion of declaring open the newly built 3-storied building at Ananda Vidyalaya in Kottava. The Prime Minister further commented that utilizing new knowledge and cutting-edge technology is the highest challenge faced by the current generation of students. Lack of resources is an issue that requires immediate attention in the prevailing educational system. The amount of resources that can be invested is less than the expected goals. That is why the education sector is growing unevenly across the country. Competition has increased due to the available opportunities for a generation to reach targeted goals. It was further noted that the increase in competition also should be encouraged and the children to gain knowledge. The Premier also highlighted that the government is dedicated to produce a generation of teachers equipped with the assistance of technical knowledge and various training courses from foreign countries. This news comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. For the first time in the history of the Railway Department, a series of live devotional songs were presented in a specially prepared train compartment. Based on a concept of Minister Dr. Bandula Gunadana, this took place at the Homagama railway station in line with the Dharma Rashmi 2024 Poson Zone, organised for the second consecutive time. The event, organised by the Music Department of the Sri Lanka Railways Department, was graced by Minister Gunadana. The technicians and engineers of the Sri Lanka Railway Chief Mechanical Engineers Sub-Department Ratmalana had designed this special train carriage. The Governor of the Central Bank, Dr. Nandalal Veerasinghe, says that Sri Lanka will record positive annual economic growth in 2024 for the first time since economic crisis. The CBSL chief highlighted the need to persist along the narrow positive economic path it trails at the moment. Furthermore, Dr. Veerasinghe noted that Sri Lanka is in the final steps of completing the debt restructuring program and has almost achieved this short-term economic sustainability. He also mentioned that as a part of the long-term plan for the economic revival of the country, the island must ensure an economic growth rate between 4% to 5% in the coming years while preserving the short-term gains of the country under the restructuring program. The government has started 4 new loan schemes to provide a total of 20,000 million rupees as a credit facility to micro, small and medium-scale industries and businesses. Minister Dr. Ramesh Patrana stated that these credit facilities will be provided under very low interest rates and simple conditions. This program will be jointly organized by the Finance Ministry and the Industries Ministry. 2 of the newly proposed loan schemes will be implemented through 16 leading banks in Sri Lanka. A manufacturing industrial enterprise employing less than 200 employees can get a maximum loan amount of 15 million rupees from the first loan scheme at an interest rate of 7%. The loan repayment period is 10 years. A grace period of 1 year is available to start paying off the loan. 16 public and private sector banks have been selected to implement this loan scheme, and 750 million rupees have been allocated to each bank. Also, a scheme will be operated where small and medium-scale entrepreneurs who are sanctioned by the Sri Lanka Credit Information Bureau can get a maximum loan up to 5 million rupees at an interest rate of 8%. The loan repayment period is 5 years. A grace period of 3 years has been given to start paying the loan amount. That ends local news for now.
The main news story is brought to you by Sinhala Mahatmya.
In the main news story this evening, President Ranil Wickremesinghe emphasized the government's commitment to creating the most advanced, future-focused educational system in South Asia. He highlighted that education remains the nation's greatest asset, and the government has prioritized funding for education and integrating new technology despite economic challenges. In line with President's vision, 2 major initiatives have been announced, promising a significant boost to Sri Lanka's educational landscape. And that was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Sinhala Mahatmya.
In Watchlight this evening, Sri Lanka Computer Emergency Readiness Team, CERT, has warned the public to remain cautious of financial fraud via SMS and social media targeting festive seasons. According to CERT, these scams promise donations, cash gifts, lucky draws and job insurance using the name of legitimate entities. Despite extensive awareness programs launched, the number of complaints is increasing continuously due to the ignorance and negligence of the victims. Issuing a statement, CERT urged the public to be mindful of fake messages purportedly sent by various banks, commercial institutions and international organizations. The public is also requested to refrain from opening or responding to unverified messages. And that came to you in Watchlight.
Coming up, World News.
The headlines first. Children in Gaza are the big cost of the Israel genocide in Gaza. Protests flare up in New Caledonia as France detains activists. And the Japanese emperor is to visit the UK on Tuesday. Khaled Kuzma, the General Director of the Child Rights Organization Defense for Children International Palestine, has said the atrocities committed against children in Gaza are unprecedented. He spoke to Al Jazeera from Ramallah after UK-based Save the Children called for an investigation into Gaza's missing children, highlighting that 21,000 children were estimated to be lost, disappeared, detained and buried under the rubble or in a mass grave as a result of the Israeli operation in Gaza. It has also stressed the fundamental rights of the children in Gaza are violated systematically and continuously by the Israeli army. Protests in New Caledonia have flared up after 7 pro-independence activists were detained and taken to France for their alleged role orchestrating riots against a controversial voting reform bill. France's High Commission to the South Pacific Territory said a town hall, police station and several other buildings were set alight across New Caledonia. The violence broke out over plans to extend voting rights to people who had lived in New Caledonia for more than 10 years. French President Emmanuel Macron then visited the territory and suspended the proposed reforms to allow a return to order. Emperor Naruhito and Empress Masako of Japan will kick off this week's official trip to the UK by visiting the Thames Barrier. The state visit begins tomorrow when King Charles and Queen Camilla will formally welcome the royals before they take a ceremonial carriage ride to Buckingham Palace. The trip, originally planned for 2020, was intended to be the Emperor's first overseas visit after he ascended the chrysanthemum throne in 2019, but it was delayed by the COVID-19 pandemic. And back to the headlines of the world news. Children in Gaza are the big cost of the Israel genocide in Gaza. Protests flare up in New Caledonia as France detains activists. And the Japanese emperor is to visit the UK on Tuesday. And that ends world news.
Development news.
An international university to be established in Sri Lanka's port city will offer undergraduate and postgraduate degree programs, including in medicine and IT. The university, with research and development facilities, is estimated to accommodate 3,000 to 4,000 students. It will offer a projected academic program in the field of medicine, which will support Port City Colombo's vision of providing world-class learning and training facilities that would encourage prospective medical students to pursue their studies locally. And that was Development News.
Moving on with sports news.
It's women's cricket. Sri Lanka women beat West Indies women by 4 wickets in the first T20I in Hambantota today. Sri Lanka women won the toss and elected to field first. Batting first, West Indies women posted 134 runs for the loss of 8 wickets in their 20 overs. Hayley Matthews top scored with 30 runs, while Alia Alain chipped with 26. Kiana Joseph contributed with 20 runs. Sri Lanka's Chamari Atapattu picked up 4 wickets, while Inoshi Priyadarshini bagged 3 and Amma Kanchana picked up 1 wicket. Wishmi Gunratna and Harshita Samravikrama smashed 35 runs each to push Sri Lanka towards victory. Sri Lanka women won the game by 4 wickets with 8 balls remaining. And that was sports news.
Go ekak thiyana youth eකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු හින හැබැ කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IAM, a plan for your dream.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
The DigiEcon 2024 Investment Summit, Sri Lanka's premier technology and investment event organized by the Ministry of Technology and powered by MasterCard, is set to kick off tomorrow. The highly anticipated summit promises to unlock invaluable insights and power strategic alliances that will provide a platform to redefine success in the digital economy. And that was Business News.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go ekak thiyana youth එකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු හින හැබැ කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IAM, a plan for your dream.
On to economic news. Sathasivam Vielendran has been appointed as Sri Lanka's new State Minister for Trade and Environment. He previously held the posts of Media State Minister and State Minister of Backward Rural Areas Development and Promotion of Domestic Animal Husbandry and Minor Economic Crop Cultivation. And that was economic news.
Weather report.
Showers will occur at times in the western, Sabaragamuwa and northeastern provinces and in the Kandy, Nuwara, Galle and Matra districts, and fairly heavy showers, about 75 mm, are likely at some places in the Sabaragamuwa province and in the Kandy and Nuwara districts. Several spells of showers may occur in the Matale district. Strong winds of about 40 to 50 km per hour can be expected at times over the western slopes of the central hills, northern, north central and northeastern provinces and in the Trincomalee, Hambantota and Monaragala districts. And prior to concluding this news broadcast, the headlines again. Several new housing projects are underway for the homeless in Batticaloa. The Premier stresses that expenditure heads of the education system should be equally divided. Sri Lanka is to benefit from new Cambridge Climate Course and Flinders University campus. The Governor of the Central Bank says that Sri Lanka is in the final steps of completing the debt restructuring. A new loan scheme is introduced to uplift ailing small and medium enterprises. Foreign news: children in Gaza are the big cost of the Israeli genocide in Gaza. Sports is women's cricket. Sri Lanka women beat West Indies women by 4 wickets. And with that, we end this news broadcast from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. And it's over to Marila Vandot on the other side to continue with the rest of the programs this Monday evening. Over to you, Marila.
Thank you, Geethanjali. That was Geethanjali Ramanayaka bringing you the main news broadcast. Right here from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation, wishing you nothing but the best and have a safe journey back home. The time moves on to exactly 30 minutes past 6 o'clock. This is Radio Sri Lanka.